Hey grad girls, it's me again, your founder Ryley. I know that we haven't been posting blogs very often recently, and that's due to two things. The first is that I've done a couple Instagram polls and found out that y'all are more interested in spotlighting women-owned businesses than like a weekly blog, which is totally cool and fine. So we're probably gonna switch, like flip-flop, and do a blog every other week and spotlight a woman-owned business every single week. So that's one reason why there haven't been many blogs lately. And the other, I'm kind of going to talk about in this vlog, I guess. This blog is about stress management and self-care. And honestly, as I wrote this a couple days ago, I felt that it was really ironic that I was writing it, because I actually didn't have it scheduled till a couple more weeks, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, I felt like now was the perfect time for me to write this, for my own well-being mostly. Hopefully because of that you'll find it more authentic and in turn more helpful. The last few weeks have been really hard for me personally, and I feel like everybody can kind of relate to that based off of the roller coaster that the last year has been. I have experienced a series of highs and lows, but the last few weeks have surely been the lowest of lows throughout this entire pandemic. While this is heavily due to just working a lot, things are opening back up and it's weird and overwhelming, I honestly just completely forgot to take care of myself the last couple weeks. I've always been a huge advocate and loud voice for self-care and stress management, and I just completely dropped the ball lately on myself. But now that I'm aware of this, I'm able to make a plan on how to climb out of this weird hole that I'm in. So I'm here to kind of talk about the tips and tricks I have learned throughout the years that come with stress management and self-care. So to me, stress management and self-care come hand in hand, and I also always hated the phrase self-care. Like, what else is there? You should 100% be caring about yourself, because if you don't care about yourself, how are you able to care about other people? That's like the first step to being there for others, is by being there for yourself. Anyways, I think a huge reason for stress overload is just being overwhelmed. We live in a world right now that praises the grind culture, and it's not always healthy and it's not always right for everybody. We a lot of times put way too much on our plate at once, and that's honestly not always the best thing for us and our mental health and our stress levels, etc. If you have too much on your plate, it's okay to take a couple things off, even if that means quitting. It's okay to quit, you guys. Try to weigh how much this particular responsibility benefits you, how much it benefits others and society, all that stuff, and then compare that to the toll it's taking on you, and decide if it's worth it or not to keep on your plate. It's okay to take a temporary step down from certain roles until you can collect yourself and return as your best self, especially if it means saving your sanity. If there are patterns and things in your life that constantly work you up and cause you stress, maybe you need to look hard and long at those things and decide if they're really worth it. Sometimes there's things you can't control, like if a family member always stresses you out or works you up, they're family and you're gonna have to figure out how to deal with that. If it's an abusive situation, that's a whole nother topic. But certain things, like in my opinion, you just kind of have to suck it up and deal with it. But there's a lot of things that are in your control. Like if you cry every day on your way to work, or you're secretly wishing that you'll get hit by a car on your way to work, maybe you should find a different job. Even if that means less money, worse hours, whatever. Like if you're that miserable with a choice that you have every agency to stop, then why are you doing it? If you hate your college, then transfer. Changes like these can be major, they can also be minor, but they're important and necessary, because not everything you commit to is gonna be a perfect fit at your very first try. So obviously when you're in the middle of a stress outbreak or a mental breakdown, yes, it's a bit of a relief to be like, okay, I'm stressed out because of my stupid job and I'm just gonna quit my job. Like that does provide some relief, but I don't know about you guys. I always just want something in the moment to make me feel better. Like I need something now. And that's where a lot of people screw up big time, because substance abuse comes into play, or reaching out to people that you really shouldn't be reaching out to comes into play, because you know, oh, it'll make me feel better if this one person cares. So my advice would be find out what calms you, relaxes you, and perks you up in the moment. Something that you don't abuse, something that's healthy. For me, it's things like a bubble bath, listening to a murder podcast, treating myself to a milkshake. Those types of really simple pleasures that obviously you can't like drink a milkshake in the bath listening to a murder podcast every time you're overwhelmed. I mean, I guess you could. You'd have to have really great time management skills, but it's not the brightest idea to, like overindulge in certain things that might not be good for your health. But when you're having a really hard time, like it's okay to give yourself some grace and figure out what's gonna chill you out in that moment and take you out of that dark place of panic. Find those simple joys in life that make you think, oh, that sounds so good right now. And there's your solution for that particular moment. But again, that's not the long-term solution. That's just advice on how to get you out of that particular panic moment. Just make sure it's healthy and you're not abusing it and you're good to go. So like I said at the beginning of this, I've been really struggling the last several weeks. And I didn't even really notice until my body started to like react to my stress. I got a stomach ulcer. I fainted at work. I fainted another day, and I'm not the type to do that. Basically, like my stress has been hurting my physical body, and like that terrifies me, and that's not okay. Like it's not okay for me, a 23-year-old woman, to be so stressed out that she burns a hole through her own stomach. Like that's silly. Once I kind of realized that I wasn't well, I noticed I've been going to work, going home, going to bed, canceling plans, not eating at all, and when I do, it's not good for me, and that's not good. So keep an eye on yourself, keep an eye on your friends, speak up if you're worried about your buddies, because one of my friends said something to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, like I need to get it together. And sometimes that's all you need, is to notice and realize, like, I'm stressed out, I'm overwhelmed, I need to make a change. And in that moment, you'll feel 100 times better. Remember to manage your stress. Take care of yourself, grad girls.